It's okay, baby. We're gonna fix you up. We'll get some more PBs. You're a good girl. Hey, sorry I didn't see you there. Welcome back to NCR. Now you might be wondering, why is Dan standing so far away from the camera this time? Why can't I see up Dan's nose? Well, it's obvious I've got a face for radio, and Mrs. No Cross was nice enough to hook me up with this little guy for Father's Day, which is great, and that means I can have a bit more freedom in the shed, and I can talk to you guys from here, or here, or here, or even here. All right, but back to more serious matters. It's time for a damage report. I don't have the diff here to show you guys, so I'm going to put a couple of photos that I received from the diff builder up on screen. You can see for yourself, it's pretty bad. The diff is a total loss, so at the moment I'm investigating what options we have available to us in the time frame between now and the next round of the sprint series, which is the final round. So that might include centers, it could include whole diffs, we might stick with 4.1, we might go 4.3. I've still got the 4.5 kit to work out what's happening with that. So the consensus at the moment is that the pinion flange nut may have been damaged during the final installation of setting the diff pinion preload on the bearing, and then of course that's stripped out. The rest is history. It's a total loss. We move on. The other thing that we've done, of course, is cook the brakes by going metal on metal. So now I'm going to jump into the car, have a look, see how bad the damage is, work out what our parts list requirement is, and then we'll go from there. Let's get into it. Okay, well, mixed fortunes. So the rotor looks pretty good. Front and back, there's no obvious big lips or gouges or anything like that. And that's great news. So hopefully we can just get away with a machine on those and continue to run them. The pads, well, look for yourself. I mean, hey, you know, I paid for the whole pad, so I'm going to use the whole pad. Metal on metal indeed, and a bit of heat transfer, as you can see on this guy, and that's probably the more concerning part. The other one, oh look, there's probably half a lap left in that guy. The passenger side's pretty similar. What I'm mostly interested in, if I can get this away one-handed, come on, is the signs of, let's see, hard to get with the light in one hand. You can see that the piston is showing, that sort of helps. You can see the piston showing a little bit of heat discoloration. So whilst the seals look okay and there's no obvious signs of leaks or tears, there is certainly some heat going into those pistons. So I'm in two minds about whether that's something that we can just clean up, sit there, clean up and run, or whether I need to replace those and rebuild the calipers. So if you guys want to let me know what you think in the comments, of course I'll reach out to some contacts of mine. I'll get some expert opinions as well, but what do you guys think? Can we run them? I would love to just put some new pads in, machine the rotors and go. Change the fluid, of course, but you know, if you and everyone else thinks that those pistons need to be replaced, then hey, maybe we're up for a rebuild. In good news, the back brake setup is fine. So those WinMax W5s and DBA rotors are still looking good, no issues there. So yeah, mixed fortunes on this one. I will cut it there for now. I will go and get some expert advice and then put a parts list together, and then I'll cut back to what we've decided to do, and we'll get stuck into refitting those to the car. And voila, all our new brake bits are here. I've been busy the past few days chatting with suppliers to arrange all these bits and pieces, but also make sure that I was going about this the right way, not cutting any corners, and setting ourselves up with the best chance for success in round 4 of the sprints. The last thing I want is another track day wasted because of some mechanical failure. Now, the good news is our HFM dot parts 2-piece rotors were able to be machined up. They're looking fantastic, no issues there. There was some discussion around potentially heat spots, but the brake shop said no issues once they machine them. I've been really impressed with the quality and the value for money of these guys, so great job HFM. Brake fluid, nothing special there. The car's due for a flush. I've always run the RBF 600. It's good stuff and it's on sale. It's super cheap at the moment, I think, so get around it. brake pads. I've had a great run with the Intima RR that are in the car currently. And when I reached out to Phil at Intima, shout out Phil, for a new set of pads, he said, would you be interested in trialing some of our RR Plus pads? So as I understand it, these are the pads, oh, look at that lovely sticker. These are the pads that a lot of teams were trialing at World Time Attack. These are not finished. So there is some discussion around, how they perform, and Phil would like some feedback. Oh, look at that, a nice little metallic effect going on. But I've always had a really good experience with Intima, so happy to try their stuff out. And of course, you guys know I love data and testing and all that kind of stuff. The last one, as you can see, is a seal kit. Now, I was really on the fence about this. I spoke to a number of different suppliers about the current seals and rubbers in the calipers, and I put some photos up and you guys can have a look. And the consensus was they looked okay, even though there had been quite a lot of heat put into the backing plate on the existing pads. But it was John at V-Sport, and thank you, John, for your help, who asked me a question which really got me thinking. How hot did the calipers get? And what's the history of them, as in when were they last serviced? And I couldn't answer either of those questions. So with that in mind, the decision was made to grab a seal kit. They're not expensive, $100 or something. And V-Sport have chucked in a couple of those AP Racing temperature stickers. So no more guesswork. We'll know how hot they're getting and we'll know that the seals are fresh. I'm not doing a full caliper strip and refurbish and powder coat and new stickers and all that kind of stuff. I really just don't have the time, and I don't want to open us up to any more challenges before the upcoming round of the sprints. So all of that said, I'm going to take the calipers off the car, we'll pop them on the bench, we'll put a seal kit in, and then we'll get into bleeding and fitting the other bits and pieces. Let's go. Alrighty, so once you've got him off the car, just give him a bit of a clean, drain all the fluid out of it so it's ready to go. Get all of your dust boots and your piston seals ready. I've already got the piston seals soaking in a bit of clean brake fluid, as is the recommendation. The kit does come with a massive multi-language instruction manual. There's not a heap to it. You're going to use a bit of compressed air in the back and something to stop the pistons completely firing out to get those pistons to come out, and I'll show you that. Pull them out, take the dust boots off, give everything a bit of a clean, put some fresh piston seals in, put the new dust boots on the pistons, put the pistons back in, and Bob's your uncle, we're ready to go. So let's get into it. Alrighty, now you can see here, I've actually already done the next step. I forgot to hit record. But basically all I've done is just use a couple of spacers and a little bit of compressed air in the back, and that helps you just pop the pistons out. So you'll just want to work them around one at a time and then take your dust boots off once they pop up and out. Take your pistons out nice and carefully. And then from here, we're going to give these a quick clean. Make sure that there's no build up inside the caliper. Yeah, just basically a quick clean. Put some fresh seals in and then we'll go from there. Of course, we're going to take the other seals out, so you'll see me do that in a moment. Just be careful when you're taking the old seals out that you're using something that's not going to scratch the bore. And likewise, you want to just be inspecting these pistons and making sure that one, they're clean when you finish with them, but two, there's no pitting, deformation and that sort of stuff. So these ones are all looking pretty good, but we'll give them a clean, get the old seals out, new seals in, pistons back in with the dust boots, and then we're done. Let's crack on. All right, that's done. So like I said, a bit fiddly. Just want to make sure that you don't damage the bores and just try various things until you work out which one's going to get in behind the seal. They all look to be in pretty good condition, so we probably could have avoided this job, but as I said previously, no harm in doing some preventative maintenance and knowing that everything's good. All right, let's get back to cleaning it up and putting it back together. Nothing special with these guys, just carefully work them into the groove and just make sure that they're not twisted or folded over in any way. Okay, so once you've got the seals in, we want to give these pistons a bit of a clean up. Just inspect them for any pitting, rust, any other signs of damage. If they're damaged, you'll have to replace them. These ones are all pretty good. Just want to make sure that that sealing surface is nice and smooth, if you can see that. And then I like to preemptively fit the seals. Again, just a little bit of clean brake fluid to help lubricate them. But yeah, you just pop the dust seals on and then put the piston in and then pull the dust seal down into the recess in the caliper. You'll know if you get them in the groove right. It should look something like that. You can see that. All right, push them in, just you'll feel them bind up on the seal. Then I like to push the dust boot in and get him started in the recess. And then drive the whole lot home and work that dust seal around all the way into the recess. Should look something like that. Hard to see in this light, but we'll get into the rest of them. Alrighty, when you're done, should look something like that. Again, hard to see in this light. And then I usually just give them a quick test just to make sure that they're all expanding at roughly the same rate. Looks good. All right, we'll clean it up and we'll get him back on the car. All right, back to the car now, and before we jump into bleeding, we'll pop the rotor on, pop the pads in. I didn't go through the process of trying to remove those old grub screws and the bleed nipples and swapping them around, so that does mean I will still have to have the caliper off the hub and facing upright to bleed it properly. No big deal. Again, as I said, I didn't want to go through the hassle of a full caliper rebuild this time around. Just didn't want any risk of something major going wrong and then getting caught out. So we'll put that back together. We'll get the calipers in a suitable position, and then I'll get my basic power bleeder out and we will get into the bleed process. Don't forget your caliper pin retaining clip. Alrighty, now that all those bits and pieces are in, we can do the same on the other side, and then we'll get ready to bleed him up. Oh, and while you're going, don't forget your pad retaining clip. So now it's bleed time. Time to get some of that fresh RBF 600 through the car. Nothing special for this. I've got your basic Repco eBay super cheap bleed kit. I'll get the compressor fired up, and I've got a new little tripod over the back there so you guys can watch from all angles. I know you like to watch. It came with a little cheeky remote control, which will make my life a bit easier. And it's time to get into it. So let's crack on. Quick overview of the process for guys that have never used a power bleeder. You got this bottle up here on the brake master cylinder reservoir. It'll be filled with fluid and it'll make sure that the reservoir does not run dry through the process. There's a little tap on it here you can see, and that makes sure that the level stays exactly where you want it to be. I will use the kit to drain the old fluid out first. There's no reason to suck all that through the system. The bleeder itself is this guy. You just hook that up to a compressor. I'll get that fired up in a minute, so we'll cut the audio at that point. Hook him up to the caliper that you want. You do need to start from the furthest point. So you start at the passenger rear, then you go to the driver's rear, come to the passenger front, then all the way back over here to the driver's front when you finish up. You just crack each nipple, let it suck through. You can generally tell when the old fluid has finished coming through. There should be a color difference. Usually see that a bit more in the lines rather than in the reservoir itself. But there's not really much to it. Just take your time and you'll get there. And the whole thing looks a little something like this. So do you guys remember that little Bluetooth remote that I was talking about? Turns out I don't actually know how to operate the thing, or it's not doing what I think it should be doing because I basically missed the entire bleed process. Just use your imagination. It's really exciting stuff. I go from corner to corner, sucking brake fluid through the car. It's riveting. It is finished. You can see the fluid on the reservoir there. I've probably put about 1 litre through the car. I just wanted to make sure any contamination was out, all the old fluid's gone. Because I've had the calipers off the car, I just wanted to make sure. I do usually finish up by doing a manual bleed. You guys don't need to see that, it's not very exciting. So from here, I'll do that process. I'll get the calipers back on the car and then we'll call that done for the brakes. Fingers crossed that I've done everything properly and that we can actually pull up properly at the next round of the sprints. You guys probably can't see this, but hiding over there on the bench is my diff center. So in the next video, I'll give you guys a closer look at that. It's pretty nasty stuff. We're still working out what we're going to do with the diff, but from here, we'll probably call that done for this video. This stuff takes a long time. It makes everything take that little bit longer. If you guys are enjoying it, let me know. If you're not enjoying it, that's fine too. But for now, I'm going to call that a day. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. And hopefully this thing works.